City of Port Richey Community Redevelopment Agency budget hearing for Thursday, September 8th, 2022. At this time, I'd like to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Up and down. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Chairman Scott Tremblay.
Here.
Member Tom Kinsella. Let the record show that Member Tom Kinsella is absent from tonight's meeting. Member Todd McClary.
Here.
Member Linda Rodriguez.
Here.
Member Bill Colombo.
Here.
City Attorney James Matthew.
Here.
City Manager John Duke.
Here. All right, this time we're gonna, I'll explain same as last budget meeting. I'm gonna allow the general public to speak at 3 different times, and it can be all 3 times as well per person. Opening commentary, 3 minutes, and then for each board business item, 3 minutes each as well. So with that, we're gonna go into commentary from the general public. I see that Dave Mueller signed up. Welcome, come on up.
Dave Mueller, 5439 Blue Point Drive. Thank you for allowing me to speak. This is a CRA meeting. I see that there's an awful lot of things going on in the city that possibly need better, faster attention than the building of our waterfront district. One, as you encountered tonight, the drainage issues over in our neighborhoods. For some reason, the tide flows out, but the stormwater still retains. So I think there's some work to do on some of the ditches. Let's use that new Vector truck to get things rolling there. Pipes. Seems like every week we still have pipes breaking. I think the infrastructure needs to be looked at thoroughly in this city and maybe prioritize that along with the building of what they're doing in what you want to do in the waterfront district. I don't know why you can't use the same money to do those kinds of things as well. Number 3, the businesses in the waterfront district stand to benefit greatly from those improvements. I would think some shared effort from those businesses would also be appreciated, that we could partner with them to ensure that some of those things are addressed. Whatever you can do to help that and improve that relationship there and possibly with the county, I think that would go a long ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. That's all that signed up is show of hands. If anyone else would like to speak. Seeing no hands, we're going to move on to commentary from our city management, Mr. Duke. Nothing to answer from the board. Nothing here.
Are we voting on one thing or 2 things, sir?
2. We're going to amend the budget, then the budget.
I'm sorry?
We're going to amend the CRA budget, then the budget.
Okay.
That's the 2 things.
Can you explain to me exactly?
Well, that's you'll explain it. Yeah.
Okay. Are you good to go?
I'm good to go. Thank you.
All right, we're going to get into item 1 of the board business, which is going to be the amendment of the current year, fiscal year 2022 CRA budget. And I'm going to pass that to Mr. Matthew for introduction.
Let me just explain to everyone, just for the record, that unlike the city's 2 resolutions, they're mandated by statute for all government and county that we have 2 formal public hearings, whereas on a special district with the CRA is we only need to do this once. We can do it twice, and we've always done it twice. And the reason we do that is part of our policy and procedures that we did before in general is we follow the same process as the city when the CRB and special district rules are silent. They are silent, and so we do too. Okay? Just telling you that. And with regard to the 2 resolutions here, Councilman Colombo was just asking me, first we're going to, resolution will be amending the budget. Now I'm going to defer to ratio on that. The reason we're being, it was recommended we do it this way. I think larger cities may do this all the time, and it'll make sense when she explains it and what she's amending. So I'll read that by title only and then look for her explanation.
Yes, please, thank you.
Resolution number 2209, a resolution by the CRA Board of the City of Port Richey, Florida, amending the Community Redevelopment Agency CRA budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2021, which is the one we're in, through September 30th, 2022. And Rachel, you can explain why we're doing that and what the numbers are.
So the state requires us to budget all balances from prior fiscal years. Well, when we're creating the annual budget, we do it prior to that year end. So we try to estimate what the end budget will be, the ending amount of the fund balance, but it's always going to vary once the audit report actually comes back. So this is for the current year, FY22 CRA budget. We're going to amend it so it matches the audit report. Exactly.
You already came out like 7 months ago, right? Okay, so now we have
June
to do-
30th.
Right, so by the end of the year, you want it to match, and so she makes it match. Right, fair statement.
Yes.
For simple people like us.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it, got it, got it.
All right, any questions for her?
No.
Look for a motion.
Motion to approve, I gotta get that one, sorry.
2209.
Budget number, 2209, thank you.
The amendment.
The amendment, 2209.
Resolution 2209, amending it.
Resolution 2209. Anybody else want to put a different word in there? I'll say that one too.
I'll second it, how's that sound?
All right, I'm good with all of that.
Put an end to this, would you? Second.
At this time, I'm going to open it up to the general public for any commentary. Seeing no hands, any further comment on the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to move on to item number 2, which is resolution 2210, which is our CRA fiscal year 22-23 budget. We'll pass that to our city attorney, Mr. Matthew, for introduction.
Thank you. I'm going to read by title only the Resolution 2210, which is the CRA budget for the next year. A resolution by the CRA Board of the City of Port Richey, Florida, setting the Community Redevelopment Agency's CRA budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023.
With that, I want to open it up to any questions or commentary from the board, or motions. And we'll.
Well, I mean, the meat of it's on page 37 right here, so if we get all the page 37. We're all there. Basically, you have line item 328 for professional services, an amount of $1,640,911. And then we have improvements other than B of $400,000. So that's $2 million. That's basically the CRA right there. I'm assuming that's all going towards the waterfront district, or is it not? What's the well? First, let's start off with the $400,000. What's the $400,000? Improvements other than B. Not sure though I know what that means.
Other than buildings, because we're doing, thank you, land improvements. So yes, that's all allocated to the waterfront. We
So
have
both
to,
of those are all allocated.
correct, because
So
that's our main
basically,
project
We're
right now.
spending all of our CRA money on the water.
Not necessarily spending it, but we have to allocate all of
No, I
it
understand.
to a
I'm just
project.
saying, we're allocating a lot of monies for different things, but the meat of the matter is our CRA, as far as the project goes, that's where it's all. Right?
That's what we've all voted on previously.
Not me, but yeah.
Correct, before.
Right.
The board, I think, voted before the last election, probably to put
Yeah,
a date
yeah,
on it.
it was,
Correct.
I might even been, a while before that.
Correct.
Okay, that was my observation. And that's why I'm gonna vote no on this, but it's not gonna matter, so.
And I understand that, and I share the same view with you in that I think that some of our CRA at some point needs to be spread out throughout the rest of the city as well. So I agree with that concept and that idea. However, I do think that we should finish the project that we have in hand first, so.
I
with
hope
that-
we'll never have $2 million again, but that's. Can I add something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
go ahead.
what we've never done before, and which was pointed out to us during the audit, is you can't have money in reserves. You must allocate all of your money
Yeah, I remember that.
to something. It doesn't mean you have to spend it. And then if you don't, then you have to allocate, at the end of the year, as you made the budget, you have to allocate it to something else. But it always has to be allocated so it doesn't get lost in your,
Well, I mean, and that's,
and so it's, I'm believing, I'm not arguing against what you're saying. But so what I'm saying is, you've got to put all the money on the table and allocate it to something.
yeah, and again, and I've always said all along, when people ask, you know, a budget, approving a budget is not approving every expenditure in it. A budget is pretty much a blueprint, is really what it is.
Correct,
You know, it's not in either of the budgets that we approve has every single line item as stated been approved for that. Those are all things that.
And it has to be said in good faith, so.
Yeah. Oh, no, I
and
understand.
that said,
Yeah.
you're
No, you
planning
get
to
to make
do
up
this.
stuff, but yeah.
You're
Yeah.
planning to do this.
Right, yeah, I got you.
Okay, okay, that's just for full council.
Mr. McLaren?
I agree what's said before you. I think it is a blueprint, as we said, and it's not an allocation. There's going to be numerous votes between now and when we actually do anything to actually allocate those funds. So everyone has a ability to decline the spending of these funds in the future or approve the spending of these funds in the future. We've gone quite a bit long period of time without a lot being done with these CRA funds. So, you know, I agree in the future, the fund should be spread across other areas of the city, and there's numerous other areas of the city where we can expend funds, but at some point we do have to start and do something for the betterment of the city with these funds. So, as you said, this is just a budget. This is a blueprint. There's opportunities. If something comes in at $3 or $4 or $5 million for this, we may have to reevaluate the expenditure. But right now, this is just a blueprint. And as such, I motion to approve the budget resolution accordingly.
We have a motion and a second. I did want to open to the general public for any kind of commentary on this. Mr. Mueller wasn't signed up, but I wanted to invite him to speak if he wishes to come on.
Well, thank you, Dave Mueller, 5439 Blue Point Drive. I wish I had a button I could just push and repeat that. Thank you for considering other opportunities in the city, because I don't want to get short-sighted by having one project and all of our eggs in one basket. I think an opportunity exists to look at other opportunities. There's no reason you can't slow the roll of that, and potentially try to argue for the best possible price. With the current market and construction, I know things are getting sideways, but I think there's a potential that could come down. So potentially slow rolling might be a provision there. I mean, there's numerous projects that the city could take on. For one, at the boat ramp on our side, Nix Park, we got potholes. Those are easy fixes. They could be addressed in part of this as well. Dealing with the stormwater drainage around here, that needs to be addressed as well, especially the pipes and what's going on there. I think an evaluation as to what state our infrastructure is in so that we can address proper funding and maybe potentially look at grants as an opportunity to address some of this stuff. But I think we need to keep all of those items on the burner and not just get so one-sided to the waterfront and try to get some participation there. I haven't seen a single one of the business owners show up at this meeting except for Seabreeze when they were getting ready to get their permits closed out. So whatever it takes, I think we need to listen to what the community wants and maybe move in that direction. It's an opportunity to build some synergy in the city and bring some momentum toward that. And I appreciate whatever you can do to look at that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Seeing no hands, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Motion passes 3-1 vote. Move on to old business. If there's any, nothing to answer. Okay. And we're looking for motion.
Motion adjourned. Second.
All in favor?